Okay, so I wanted to make this quick video for everyone because this clip popped up in my YouTube feed and it kind of made me raise an eyebrow. Then I saw it was from CTV, so it kind of made sense. They put out a video claiming that the Buy Canadian movement is starting to die down. And not too long ago, I saw an Ipsos article that completely contradicted what they're saying. So I want to show this to everyone today and give you my thoughts. Today's backdrop came from my mom, from when she and my dad went over to Vancouver Island this past summer. Yes, those are goats on the roof. If you ever visit Vancouver Island, make sure you check out the Coombs Market. Thanks again, Mom, for sending this over. All right, let's get started.
Well, when the U.S. first launched its trade war, it led to a swell of national pride across the country, including a Buy Canadian movement. Many Canadians changed the way they shopped at the grocery store, but it turns out that may be waning. Here's CTV's Dave Charbonneau.
As the cost of groceries remains high, many shoppers are changing buying habits. The Buy Canadian campaign is waning.
You can't completely eliminate all American stuff, right?
Now, from what I can see from this report, they took the feedback from two shoppers in a parking lot and the CEO of Loblaws to make the judgment call that the boycott is losing momentum. Sure, there are people who don't care and have been buying US products the whole time. And yeah, there are people who shop strictly based on price, like the two you see in the report. But in my opinion, the US product boycott is still making a dent in the US economy, and I'm going to show you why later.
Now that Canada has lifted reciprocal tariffs on the US, Loblaws CEO says shoppers are searching for the best discounts, no matter the origin. Prices on direct imported products from the US have gone down to normal. And of course, we are seeing some customers who are going back to those products that they love now that they are much cheaper than they were.
Now let me ask my audience this, because we're a pretty good representation of people in Canada. And I honestly think a good chunk of the world who is boycotting US products. If prices are cheaper now because of some of the tariffs have been lifted, would that make you go back to the US products you used to buy? For me, that's a no. Why? Because avoiding US products has become a habit. It's automatic at this point. And living in Malaysia right now actually makes it easier for me. There's way less US stuff on the shelves here. I even brought 3 bottles of French's ketchup with me. When that runs out, I'll look for something local. But this message coming from the CEO of Loblaws, the same company that's been maple washing US products, deceiving customers into thinking they're buying Canadian, whose only real priority is profit and partnerships with the US suppliers. So it's not surprising to me that the CEO says this. It's in his own best interest to get those US products out the door.
I think it's coming down to cost for me. There's a lot of it. Yeah. So I'm probably, I'm paying less attention to it. Yeah. Okay. Overall. Yeah. Okay. I mean, we gotta like save our dollars, right? It's like the price of stuff is crazy.
It's about cost as well. So when stuff is cheaper, I'll go with the cheaper option.
Now, I'm not going to shame these people, and I respect their decision. Cost is a big factor, and everyone has their own financial situations to worry about. Prices are going up, and some people struggle more than others. But what I will say is that these two shoppers do not represent all Canadians.
Experts say the season also plays a role.
Lots of times that patriotism is blended with affordability. So as Canada ends into the off-season for growing, and we start to rely more heavily on imports, the ability to choose Canadian isn't always as prevalent as it would be in the growing season.
Well, at this time of year, you have really no choice in terms of fresh vegetable and fruit to buy outside of Canada. So, and that probably means through the United States.
Another person interviewed on the side of opening up to buying products from the US again. You can see how lopsided these interviews are. But that guy earlier, who spoke on behalf of the Federation of Independent Grocers, brought up a point that I actually agree with. Seasonal changes do affect what ends up on the shelves. But this is not like the last season, or the season before, or the one before that. Canadians are shopping with a dysfunctional neighbor in mind, just like this next person.
For others, Buy Canadian still sends a strong message.
Are you boycotting American products 100%?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What if there's something that doesn't exist in the Canadian version?
I don't buy it.
Are you still boycotting the American stuff when you can?
Not necessarily boycotting them on purpose. I don't go out of my way necessarily. But if I can purchase Canadian, I'll do that.
I think for most of us in the GTL community, we resonate more with these two. For me, it was the First Lady. Sometimes, if something Canadian made or something made by our international allies is not available, I just won't buy it, even if the US version is sitting right there. And I know I'm not the only one who does that. In my opinion, it comes down to discipline and standing by your values. There have been times where I really wanted to buy a bag of Doritos or Lay's, but buying them would go against what I believe in. The same thing that First Lady is probably feeling as well. So instead, I'll look for alternatives. I don't need that bag of Doritos, although I do miss Cool Ranch. I can find something else instead. So let me know in the comments. Do you think it really comes down to discipline and values? I'd love to hear the community's feedback and whether you agree or disagree with me on this. And if you do agree with me and you're not subbed yet, help this channel by hitting that subscribe button below. There's only so many voices on YouTube right now calling out this bullshit, so we need to get this message out.
For many, buying Canadian remains a priority, even with higher prices.
What if you have two products side by side and the American one's cheaper?
We buy the Canadian one.
You still pay more?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's our local businesses. It's our folks that are working hard to do things. And, I try not to buy American, preferably.
Food import prices are also expected to drop even more in Canada soon due to President Trump's decision to reduce tariffs on basic food staples. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
So as you can see, there are still many Canadians out there like us who are standing strong on the boycott. I jumped onto my computer to get this video made because of the CTV title, which you can see in the left-hand column. I felt I needed to prove them wrong, or at least show that, hey, CTV, show the other side, and also to call out the big grocers in Canada who keep pushing this narrative that Buy Canadian is losing steam. We know you profit more when the US sales go up. But to back this up even more, and to show that the boycott is a long-term thing, I want to show you an Ipsos report from a few months ago. It was a poll that asked Canadians about their long-term view on buying US products. I trust this way more than 3 Canadians in a parking lot, shopping based on price, and a money-driven CEO from Loblaws. According to this Ipsos report, at the end of September 2025, 56% of Canadians polled have bought more Canadian products, and 58% have avoided US products, and 22% have done nothing. I'm going to guess these 22% are the Maple Megas, or the ones that still continue to go to the United States. But this tells me the efforts are still there, and it's definitely not dying down. For the 58% avoiding products, I'm sure it's become habit at this point. The first thing you do when you pick something up is you check the label. So that habit isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We have plenty of fuel to keep us going. We just need these two guys to open their mouths and remind us why we're doing this. Moving on to the next screenshot. This one's a bit of a bigger deal for me, because it's feedback on what Canadians will do after the crisis. I kind of find it funny how they call our dysfunctional neighbor a crisis. As of September, 82% of Canadians polled said they will continue to buy Canadian products, and 57% will continue to avoid US products. So what's my main takeaway from this video? It's that the CTV report I showed earlier doesn't reflect the general consensus from Canadians. If you ask me, it's a heavily weighted report based on 3 Canadians in a parking lot and the Loblaws CEO point of view. And I already pointed out why that narrative benefits Loblaws and the big grocers. I mean, hell, even the National Post put out an article stating that Canadians are holding strong on avoiding US products. So I guess my message today is to reassure Canadians that we're still on course and to stay aware of the narratives that only help the big grocers protect their profit and bottom line. That's it for today's video. If you agree with me on my take, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And subscribe if you agree and you're new to this channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.